Hi, my name is Joseph Nichols, and I would first like to thank you for allowing me this opportunity to compete for the St. Francis Scholarship. And I chose the third prompt. For me, acting with integrity, justice, and generosity is by living out the five characteristics of the graduate at graduation. Integral to the beliefs and foundation of every Jesuit institution, characteristics of the grad at grad, as it is commonly referred to, being open to growth, intellectually competent, religious, loving, and committed to doing justice. I spent the last 4 years at St. Xavier High School, a school which was at one time even connected with the very institution Xavier University. Throughout my whole lifetime, the characteristics of the grad at grad have been well established and implemented into my own life as a current bomber and soon to be musketeer. Although I've admittedly only learned the names of these five core values of the human experience only 4 years ago, I've lived by them for quite some time. See, I grew up with a very strong foundation. I spent 9 years in a Catholic grade school, observing how my two older brothers acted. I went on to St. Xavier High School, a Jesuit high school, and I will hopefully be attending a Jesuit university in the fall. So it is pretty safe to say that the Jesuit teachings have been well established in my own life. Xavier University's beliefs, as stated in its very mission statement, are educating each student intellectually, morally, and spiritually, driven by our commitment to educating the whole person, promoting the common good, and serving others. And this has always had a fundamental presence in my family. My parents met at Xavier University. My oldest brother just graduated in the spring and is currently enrolled in medical school. My other brother is a current junior fine arts major preparing for a senior thesis in art show. Xavier's mission statement also asserts that the university creates learning opportunities through rigorous academic and professional programs integrated with co-curricular engagement. Having observed this throughout my whole life, whether it was visiting Xavier while I was competing in Latin competitions or leading my event in the Science Olympiad regionals last year, I've been a first-hand witness of Xavier's dedication to rigorous academic work. I've seen students at Xavier on my visits working diligently, and I've observed my brothers coming home from school with enough work and papers to drown, and they always do it without it complaining. And this, in and of itself, is an inexplicable event, but I will do my best to make sense of a Xavier student incredible devotion to their studies while also just being a good person. And I believe it's in part due to Xavier's commitment to the full person. Like how in Xavier University's mission statement, the school engages its students in their wholeness. It's cura personalis, care for the whole person. It's the grad at grad. It's the prompt of this very declaration: integrity, justice, and generosity. Sure, you can have only one of these characteristics. One need look no further at the UC Bearcats, for instance, but just one isn't Xavier's mission. Xavier's mission is more. The Magus. Jesuit institutions are very familiar with the term of the Magus. Ignatius Loyola and the Society of the Jesuits motto is Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam, and an AP Latin scholar like myself can tell you that it translates to for the greater glory of God. Jesuit schools and universities are known for striving for more. You just have to look at my class schedule and GPA to know that in the spirit of St. Ignatius Loyola and St. Francis Xavier, I strive for more. But more isn't everything. Like I said, you need to look at the whole person. Perhaps the easiest for me of the components of the grad at grad is being intellectually competent. It's also surprisingly one of the components with that I struggle with the most. I have worked immensely hard for the GPA that I currently have, and joining academic clubs such as Science Olympiad or Latin Club have been one of my favorite pastimes in the past 4 years. My problem, admittedly 4 years, was focusing too much on my grades. I am proud of my GPA, but I was hit with a rude awakening when I came to the realization that one's GPA is not a rung on a ladder of some social hierarchy. One's academic achievement does not diminish athletic or academic achievements of another. One needs to take everything into account, and I spent 4 very long years trying to find the perfect balance of academics with mental health and other components of the human condition. But in order to do that, I had to be open to growth. And being open to growth is another characteristic of the grad grad, and another one that I have struggled with. For the first couple of years of my St. Xavier experience, I just preferred to keep to myself and achieve success academically. But like I said earlier, academic success is simply not everything. I had to be open to growth. And to do that, I joined the Ultimate Frisbee team at my high school, and it was one of the best decisions that I've made in my entire life. An upperclassman, Patrick McLaughlin, took me under his wing, and introducing Ultimate Frisbee to my life was an exceptional way for me to balance my academic and social lives. I made countless friends through the sport, both upper and underclassmen, and it's one of the many things that I'm greatly looking forward to at Xavier University. I'm friends with Xavier's team captain, JT Weaver, so do not be surprised if you see me flinging discs for a Blood Ultimate next year. The next characteristic of the grad at grad is being committed to doing justice. I believe that integrity, justice, and generosity are found in all the characteristics of the grad at grad, cura personalis, and the Magus, which I have all discussed, but these three values are also deeply rooted in the principle of being committed to doing justice. Service work for me has been consistent throughout my time at St. Xavier, a tangible representation of how my integrity, justice, and generosity can and does help others. Participating at extraordinary lengths in the canned food drive, even being a leader for it this year, has been an immense joy of mine, and I love seeing the semi trucks full of canned goods going to needy families. But after feeling that I was simply not doing enough to better my community and the situation of others around me by only doing one weekly service freshman year, I doubled my service hours the next year, and I tripled them the following year. This is integrity, this is justice, this is generosity. And whether it was tutoring multiple children in inner city schools every week or helping physically disabled people regain their sense of humanity through participating in sports, service has been integral to who I am as a person, and I very much want to continue my journey of service at Xavier University. The next component of the grad is being religious. I have gone to church my whole life, and I very much enjoy being a part of the Bellarmine Chapel community every week, and I admire their heavy involvement in social justice issues. Some of my earliest memories at all were participating in Bellarmine's Montessori religious ed program. And even now during COVID, I, with the rest of my family, tune into the live stream every week, and we have great respect for Father Ballman, Father Eric, Father B, and Father Graham. However, organized religion is simply just a part of a larger whole. There's a sense of spirituality and true belief in religion that each person needs to find for themselves. For me, this occurred my sophomore year, in the middle of the high school journey. Each student at St. Xavier is tasked with writing an essay, a thesis or testament to who they are as a person. And they are given the whole year to write it. It is due as a final exam of sorts, and a faculty member used the essay with you over the summer. My moderator was Miss Kohler. She is a French teacher at St. X. She was my homeroom teacher that year, and I got into know her through joining French Club, even though I had no experience at all with the language, and she examined my essay with me. I decided to write my essay on how I come to live out each of the components of the grad, like this essay, where I succeeded and where I still need some help. And we observed how I was not fully listening to religion. I went to mass, I went through the motions, but I was simply just not feeling it. And we discussed at length how I can be much more in touch with my religious self. And after our discussion, I went on to make a personal connection with each of my religion teachers. I went to Wheeling, West Virginia on a mission trip the following year, as well as a Kairos retreat. And all of this was for my inner desire to form a relationship closer with God. And I am proud to say that I am significantly more spiritual and religious at this point in my life. Love is another interesting characteristic of the grad that relates to the idea of acting with integrity, justice, and generosity. Perhaps my favorite author of all time, publishing well over 82 books, and the creator of my favorite story ever written, The Shawshank Redemption, is Stephen King. And my favorite quote of his is, "Even when love isn't enough, somehow it is." And similar to my experiences of countless services, by being committed to doing justice, I've come to love the people that I work with in service. It's not the Valentine's Day anniversary kind of love, but it's the love of acknowledging someone's faults in humanity and just doing what you can to help them. And the reason that I didn't pick the first prompt is because truthfully, I do not yet know how I can change the world, or as St. Ignatius said, set the world on fire. I am a high school senior, spending this weekend writing an essay for college. I'm not exactly JFK or MLK. As I said earlier, though, I have the utmost respect for Stephen King and his vast works, but I am going to have to disagree with this quote. It isn't enough to just love or to just be. We need to constantly strive for more. And I think this is an important message to live by. And one thing that I do know is that I will always continue to strive towards being a good person by finding the characteristics of the grad, by observing care for my whole self, cure personalis, aspiring for more, the Madras, and continuing to act with integrity, justice, and generosity. Thank you for your time, and go Muskies.